versus the Charlestown Chiefs. Brought to you by Sheehan's Rustproofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home, make your next move a power play with Mike Burgoyne of Real Brokerage Realty. First responders, veterans, doctors, nurses, teachers, and yes, Let's Go Blues Radio listeners get special rates. Visit strikewithmike.com or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com and score big today.
Have you subscribed to the LGB Minute podcast yet? It's a 5-minute weekly St. Louis Blues podcast hosted by Jeff Ponder that is released multiple times a week to fill the gap between Let's Go Blues Radio episodes. Subscribe today.
So awesome, so handsome, so smart, you'll agree. Kurt, Jeff, and Bill are on TV. It's radio on TV. Oh yeah, it's radio on TV.
From St. Louis, I am Jeff Ponder, and I'm joined by the man who was not born in the month of May, Bill Day. That's correct, right? You were not born in May.
That is correct.
You are September?
No, that's Kurt.
Oh, you're October.
No, I'm February.
You are February. Yeah, I would have gotten there eventually.
Only had
Price.
8 more to go.
Yes. Kurt Price is still facing allegations. We're bringing you the often imitated, never duplicated, "My name is Jeff Ponder. You killed my father. Prepare to die." The original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. This is the 9th episode of season 15 and the 537th episode of all time. It is Thursday, December 4th, and we're streaming to you live. Tonight, we break down tonight's Blues and Bruins matchup, unfortunately. Recent games since our last show, some injury and call-up news, and Bill may even do a little dance for you. All that and more on this inconceivable episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. So for those of you who are fans, I'm sure, Bill, you understood the references. So sometimes when I'm writing the intro for the show, I'll be sitting upstairs with my wife, and, we were sitting there watching the game while I was writing it. And sometimes I'll just look at her and say, "Hey, give me a quick line for the beginning of the show." And so every now and then she supplies me with one. So she supplied this one tonight for me. "My name is Jeff Ponder. You killed my father. Prepare to die." And I just go, "Oh, I don't know. I was thinking something kind of Christmassy." And she goes, "But no, it's funny because your dad's dead." And and I just go, "Well, now I'm putting that in there." And I'm telling that story. She's like, "You're going to make me look pretty cold-hearted." And I'm like, "Well, you're the one that said it." So there you go.
No, that is some great inspiration.
Yes, exactly.
Kudos, Jess.
Yes, exactly. We have already got some heat coming in the comments, but we will get to that. We're getting some heat there. Just talking about the Blues tonight. We will get to that. Let's get to it real quick right now. Why not? Real quick. So actually, Bill, you probably can't see it, but I did look in the YouTube chat before we started. Joe Schmo said, "I'll say it before, during, and after the show. Bring up Carbonneau. There's no downside. We get 10 free games. At least use those." And LSG, Light Sound Geometry, responded, "Carb can't come up until later, if not mistaken." I am actually going to interject before I get to the rest of the comments on that. LSG is correct. They cannot just call up Carbonneau in the middle of the season. There are rules against it because the Canadian Hockey Junior Leagues do not want players to be able to just come and go throughout the season. They've got ticket sales they've got to worry about, and obviously sponsorships. So if they're losing their top players all the time mid-season, that would not be good for them. So they do not allow NHL teams to call up players mid-year. So that's why whenever you hear of these, and it's actually a 9-game tryout, It's at the beginning of the season. So the Blues would have had to have kept Carbonneau up at the start of the year. And they did not do that, obviously. So they cannot call Carbonneau up right now, unfortunately. I get the frustration. Let's just see these kids play, see what they got. But unfortunately, that is just not the case. Bill, I'm correct on that, right?
As far as I know, I am not an expert on that, but that it seems to make sense. And I would add that I don't think they're going to do anything with him until at least after World Juniors, because he's got to be playing, right? He's got to be a shoo-in for Canada. So let him play in actual games that matter, because when he's playing here, the games aren't going to matter.
Yep, agree. So yeah, again, we do have a couple more comments regarding that. We've got light sound geometry. This is where I saw the heat coming in. Army is a clown. The roster construction is poor. And then LSG does ask, why bring up Carbonneau? Joe Schmo responds, because we need him and he's wasted in junior. Wasted, I think, is a strong term. I don't think he's wasted. He's still grooming his game. You know, you're going to see, just like when Kyrou came up, well, really any player came up for the Blues, Oshie comes to mind. They did not look good at the very, very start. They were making stupid plays. They were turning the puck over in the slot. There's just some things you can do in juniors you can't do in the NHL. And so I think for him to be able to start to kind of work out those kinks in the juniors before he comes up to pro is key for his development. So I don't want to say he's wasted, but I would love to see him up here sooner rather than later. It would be really cool to see him in a regular season game to open next season. So we'll see what the Blues do with him.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be frank about this whole fucking thing, right? We're all frustrated by how awful this team is performing. They show zero signs of chemistry. So, you know, we've got our little bits of dopamine, you know, with Dvorsky coming up. Oh, that was super exciting. You know, the season starting out with Snuggerud, and Dvorsky looks good. Looks like he should stay here, but he's not, you know, he doesn't have, he's not on a line long enough to develop chemistry with players. And that's another rant for later on in the show, but he's not at this point a world beater. Nobody on this team is a world beater. So we want to keep seeing, oh, let's see the new flashy thing, right? That's a, you know, I think the natural reaction for most frustrated fans, right?
Yep.
Next.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we saw Kaskimaki tonight. Let's get a Luff in there tomorrow, you know, or Friday or Saturday.
Do you think they accidentally called up Luff instead of Loof?
Yeah, maybe it's possible. Very possible.
The
minute they signed that guy, I thought, great, we got a Luff and a Loof. Like, one of us is going to screw this up at some point this season and call him Matt Loof, and it's going to be like, wait, I thought his name was Leo. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's inevitable, fans. So get ready to correct us as we speak about Matt Luff and Leo Loof. Big Beaver in the chat. What's up, guys? Why do the Blues suck so much? When does Booch get a boot? I don't give a fuck about his goal. And when are we going to figure out our goaltender start trends? I'm heated. Sigh. Sorry. You know what? We're going to solve it all tonight. Right, Bill? That's the goal. We're going to solve all these questions here tonight.
We don't have enough time.
You're right. There's way too much to get to, and way too many problems. Hey, let's get some positivity in here before we really get into some of these segments of the show. Light Sound Geometry reminds us Adam Juracek is the OHL D-Man of the month. That's right, the Blues, and we talked about it on the Let's Go Blues Minute. So if you want to get some more information on that, you can subscribe, smash that subscribe button. But yeah, that is great news. Juracek, I want to say he had a point in every game this in the month of November except for one, and he had a point streak from like October 26th to like November 14th. So he was playing some lights out hockey defensively and obviously lighting up the score sheet. So again, another young player that you're going to want to watch out for the St. Louis Blues, because we've got some young guys coming up that could help steer this ship right in the next couple of years, but it does not look good right now.
No.
All right. And let's see. Trees in the chat. The Booch matter. That's just us screaming about why is he not benched. Yes, I completely agree. I mean, he scored tonight. We'll get into that, but overall, it's not even for me. It's not even benched. It's why does he continue to get like top 3 minutes of forwards? It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, benching. If you want to talk about benching, it's Robert Thomas. It's, fourth time this year he got benched in the third period.
Yep.
And he to me is really the problem on this team.
Yep. You need him playing at a high level for this team to succeed, and we're just not seeing it. And I get Montgomery's frustration to say you're just not going to play because you're not at top form. If it's an injury, sit him out. Make him sit out and heal up. If it's not an injury, then I'm totally fine doing what they did to Kyrou a couple weeks ago. Just tell him, hey, you're sitting out until you can figure your game out.
Yeah. Yank the A off his sweater.
Yep.
He's not earning it.
Nope. All right. Well, let's get into well, I don't want to say the bulk of the show yet, but let's get into some announcements. So next week, if you're interested, Bill, I don't know if you're going to be joining us or not, but we are going to have a special guest on the show. If you're familiar with 101.1 ESPN radio, by the way, Bill, I don't know if you noticed my my note here in the announcements. I called it 101 The River. Do you remember that?
Oh, I love the river.
I used to love the river back in the day.
It was just that middle of the road, played the good stuff and not a lot of the bad stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like we'll play like Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, followed by We Built This City. And it was like, okay, good music and meh music. So yeah, that I used to love that kind of stuff.
You did just reference what is considered widely one of the worst songs of the 1980s.
Yes, I did. Intentionally, by the way.
Yeah, and Loverboy wasn't good either. Oh wait, no, I'm not a Metallica fan. Sorry.
Oh yes. Well, next
joke.
Yes, so 101 The River, or also known as ESPN Radio. Jordan Deacon has been all over their social media channels. She's been doing game previews, game recaps, and just general videos for 1011 The River. I keep calling it that now. 1011 ESPN Radio. And so she's actually going to come on the show next week. So we're going to have her kind of sit in as a fill-in host / guest. And and so she's going to be on it. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to having her on. She's a very knowledgeable hockey fan and obviously has access to the Blues. So we'll be able to ask her a little bit of, what are you seeing in the locker room that none of us are seeing? So we'll be able to get into that. Bill, I don't know if you'll be joining us or not. It'll be next Wednesday, the 11th, 13th, 11th, 13th, 11th. No, 10th. It's the 10th. It is the 10th.
Now I'm confused. I'm not going to show up. I'm going to show up on the 11th,
and the 13th.
And the 13th. And you guys won't be there.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see if I have recovered well enough from the previous night's hockey action. So
yes, that's true. Yes, we have a big game next week, so we will see. Bill will be back in goal for us, and unfortunate for Bill, Bill had to take a couple weeks off for us in goal, and we did have to have basically our third string goalie play.
I got sent to the minors.
You did. Well, it's a reconditioning stint, is what it is. What would be
this is what I've been conditioning.
What would be a reconditioning stint for a beer league? You're in the water league now. You don't even get to drink beer. That's how bad that league is.
That's all I've been doing.
So we've got we've had somebody else step in. Her name's Stephanie. She's been great for us, but it's just one of those things where we played two teams that I was like, Bill, if Bill was in goal, he would have won these games too. Or we didn't win both. We won 0-1 in the last two games without Bill. And I instantly the team's like, oh, poor Bill. He's going to see this and just go, Oh man, like even the backup to the backup is getting wins for this team. But trust me, she played well. You would have played just as well. Just unfortunate timing for you to have to take some time off.
Yeah. Yep. Everything goes well. I am definitely back for the foreseeable future.
Awesome. Sounds great to us. So anyway, well, there was something here I wanted to read. Let's see, what was it? Never mind. I lost it. Sorry to whoever I was going to read a comment from. All right, so let's move into beers of the episode. This is episode number 538. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. I'm at jponder94. Bill is at blue blop. Billy Blue Note 33. Bill, we switched to you. It hasn't really worked yet, but let's at least give it another week. So let's go to Bill first. What are you drinking tonight?
I had this one earlier this year. The Warlock, Maple Warlock from Southern Tier, Imperial Pumpkin Stout. Pumpkins, pumpkin beers gotta start leaving the fridge here. So just trying to finish off what I have. I probably, when we go to break, I'm gonna have to run downstairs and get another because this one's gone quickly.
Oh yeah, that'll happen. Hey, our hockey team makes us drink, right?
It does.
I hear you. Yeah, I'll admit I've already had a few tonight. This is the one I haven't started drinking mine yet, but this will be number 4 for me, which typically when we do shows, I really don't only drink when we do the show. But yeah, let's just say after that second goal went in, I said, time to start. I need beer because that's the only thing that's going to make this better. So for me, I'm actually drinking one I've never had before, but I want to say you or Kurt have had this on the show before. I could be wrong. It is, or maybe it was somebody in the chat. It's from Prairie Artisan Ales, the Seasick Crocodile.
Yes, I had that last year. I may have.
Did you?
Yes, I think I had that on the show before Christmas last year.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I love about this can art, and I'm doing my best to try and show it here, is that it gives me very Pitfall vibes, like the old game Pitfall for anyone who played that. Like the player that and
the
like
Atari 2600.
Yep. And yep. So this is this kind of gives me the vibes of that. Just a very cool, like Santa getting chased by an alligator. Really enjoy it. Very well done. Can art, but I have not had a drink of it yet. So I was actually saving it for the start of the show. It does say on the can here, sour ale with cranberries, ginger, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Very interesting. I will say I don't typically like the cranberry flavored beer. So I'm a little concerned to try this, but I believe you said it's very good.
The cranberry, like, if you like sour beers, you'll be fine with it. The cranberry isn't going to come through.
Okay.
So,
all right. Let me give it a shot here. Here we go. And that's a nice, like a very cranberry flavor, I guess is the best way to say it. Looks like very juicy cranberry sauce. So,
yes, it is a very red beverage.
The cranberry does not really come across. You're right. It's more sour. I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's good. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I was really afraid I was not going to like it. So,
yes.
Great.
And of course, an ode to You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
Yes, of course. Yes, the Seasick Crocodile, of course.
Speaking of which, Grinch, so I am a fan of all things dill pickle.
Nice.
I'm one of those guys. So McDonald's, currently has the Grinch meal where you get fries and you get pickle seasoning in a special bag to mix it all together.
Ooh.
Limited time. It's I think the higher, in McDonald's, the biggest problem I have with them is the quality is so hit and miss between visits. When the fries are great, they're great, but when they're not great, they're awful. I had fairly bad fries. the pickle flavoring actually covered it up a little bit. So I
That's
enjoyed
good.
it. I will definitely try it again before it goes away.
I am not a pickle guy at all. I always order my burgers without pickles. But I will say, as weird as it sounds, when I'm having and actually there's a lot of times I do still order my burgers with pickles. Yeah, we got a request here.
Joe
Bill, stand
Schmo.
up and show the jersey from
Yes.
Joe Schmo. And yes, he is wearing his vintage year Montreal Canadiens jersey.
This is the original Winter Classic, the Heritage Classic, where Jose Theodore showed the world that goalies have style and put the toque on the
Yes.
helmet.
Loved it. That was one of my favorite things ever. I remember as a kid. Well, I guess I wasn't a kid, but I don't know. Was I a kid? What year was
It
that?
was 2003.
Okay, I was a kid. Yeah, I was 18 in 2003. So, but although my 18-year-old niece would say, I'm not a kid. Okay, all right. Yeah, and actually that year, because that V, the vintage there on the I've got the Blues one, because I think every team, maybe not every team, but at least every expansion 6 and original 6 had a vintage jersey that year. And I've got the Blues one, and it's a Mike Liut one, which I know you would appreciate. But I remember I bought that from my dad because I saw it in the store. I'm like, oh, this has got my dad written all, because he was a huge Liut fan and a huge Glenn Hall fan. Loved all the early goalies and even the late goalies in the 80s and 90s. Big Joseph fan. So yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's got dad written all over it. So yeah, those were some cool jerseys. I think even the Kings had some really nice ones that year too.
Yeah. Yeah. I when I went to Montreal, which it was actually, so the Blues are there Monday night, I think. So
Sunday, I believe.
Sunday. Okay, so they do Saturday, Sunday this weekend. So we went in 2017 and we went and saw the Blues play in Montreal, and it was basically this week, the first full week of December, and I wore this jersey, and the Bell Center attendants, several of them asked me, where did I get that jersey? Because they hadn't seen one. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Matt Harris says, what's up, sluts and Bill? I'm very offended by that. I am a boy slut. Thank you. Much different than a slut. You know, Matt, I know, you sick little fuck. And then we got Ken Morris in the chat saying Heritage game was it Habs versus Oilers? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Ty Conklin in net for the Oilers, correct?
Yes, Mr. Outdoor Game, right?
Yeah, he played what, 3 of them?
Yeah. I actually have the I should have busted that out. I've got the Lundy over here. I have the Heritage Classic set with Jason Smith versus Jose Theodore, but it's
nice.
It's mint in box. It's in that case behind me.
You need to get that. Isn't it like a spray you can put on the glass so that way it doesn't tint as much, so you can kind of see through it?
Yeah,
I kind of want to do that with. Actually, it's not really doing it much anymore. But this Blues thing behind me that my dad made as a kid, I think it's because I angled the camera different now. But yeah, at first it was real bad, like you couldn't see it, and I'm like, ugh. But then I re-angled it, and we're good.
Yeah, one of these years I'll actually do something to make this room, podcast friendly.
Right.
One of these years. I've been saying
I think it looks good. You got a lot of cool stuff there. Is that Henrik Lundqvist next to you?
Yes, it is.
That's very nice.
I got this at the All-Star game here in St. Louis at the All-Star festivities. So
that is where. Let's see. Hang on. I'll show this guy.
We're doing show and tell this week.
Yes. Sorry, podcast audience. This is where I got my gritty. That was the All-Star game. I saw. Well, they had a deal too, right? You probably got the same one. Where if you got one of these, you got a free Braden Shen, I believe.
I didn't
did you get
take
that too?
Advantage of that. No.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, you got like one of these, and you got or it was like half off the Braden Shen one. So I got both, but I was like, I could, no offense, I love Braden Shen, but I was like, I could give her, take or leave Braden Shen, give me the gritty all day. This is my favorite mascot. except maybe Fred Bird, I guess.
Gritty's pretty damn good. Although,
yeah, it's just for me, nostalgia. Growing up in St. Louis, it's hard to beat Fred Bird, but man, yeah, Gritty is fantastic. Everything he does, all of his social media stuff, love him. He's good. He's so awesome. All right, let's go ahead and take a break before we get into. Actually, before we take a break, I'm just going to do this because it is live and Matt Harris is here and listening. Matt, I did talk to the Hockey Stick Man today. I need to forward you the shipping information, but they did send out your stick today, and he did tell me that because of the delay, he also sent you some other goodies. I have no idea what that is. It could just be a Speedo with my face on it. I don't know. But it's apparently they are sending you other goodies as well since there's been such a delay. So Merry Christmas to you. We just got you your free Rob Your Neighbor gift for your family. That's what I usually do. When I get like free stuff like that, I'm like, oh, this is a great Rob Your Neighbor gift. Yeah, this is probably worth $20, right? Yep. I'm a cheapskate. All right, Bill, let's take a quick break. When we get back, we've got plenty to talk about. We are not going to fully break down this Bruins Blues game. Don't worry, folks. We'll talk about the team as a whole for the most part. We've got some transactions to talk about. But we got plenty to go here on the show. You are listening to Jeff and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
What are you doing? Have you not subscribed to the Let's Go Blues Minute yet? Do it wherever you get podcasts. It provides a daily look into the St. Louis Blues, filling the gap between Let's Go Blues radio shows. Go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Friendster. I don't care. Just subscribe and get fresh blues content daily. Do it. Like now.
Every hockey team needs that clutch player who knows when to pass, when to shoot, and when to take charge. In real estate, that superstar is Mike Burgoyne of Real Brokerage Realty. Whether you're buying your first home or selling your current one, Mike skates circles around the competition with his knowledge, hustle, and down-to-earth approach. And here's the real zone ability. If you're a first responder, veteran, doctor, nurse, teacher, or even just a loyal Let's Go Blues radio listener, you'll score special rates when you work with Mike. Got questions? Fire them at him. He'll answer quicker than Bill Day's glove hand. Obstacles in your way? He'll plow through them harder than I would in a goalmouth scramble. And when it comes time to close, he'll put it in the back of the net faster than a Kurt Price shot from the slot. So don't just settle for an ordinary realtor. Get the MVP on your side. Visit strikewithmike.com or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com today. Mike Burgoyne, the real estate teammate you can always count on.
Is your business wanting to advertise but not wanting to break the bank? Are you wanting to target 20 to 60-somethings for your product or service? We can help. The Let's Go Blues radio team is currently accepting new advertisers for our live shows and at our website, letsgoblues.com. Pricing starts at just $10 per month. Go to letsgoblues.com/advertising to learn more.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
Got to read this comment here from Matt Harris. Man, this has been slightly higher than average homoerotic episode of the podcast. Yes, that is. We're just looking for anything to not talk about the Blues is pretty much what we're looking at here. Why did we flip here? We totally flipped.
I don't know. I don't have admin rates, so couldn't have been me.
Well, it was somehow me, I guess. I don't know what happened, but we're back to normal now. But yes, we're basically looking for anything to not talk about the St. Louis Blues. Bill, I'm going to let you choose here. Do we talk transactions with
Choose your own adventure?
Choose your own adventure. Yes. Flip to page 52. You're dead. I always hated those when it was like, oh, if you choose this, flip to page 47, and you flip to it, and it's like one sentence, and it's like, the monster ate you. You're dead. And it's just, Well, fuck you. Like, no, I'm not. I changed my adventure. I'm going back. That always drove me crazy. Total side tangent. But anyway, do you want to talk about transactions first, or should we talk about a little bit more about this game first?
Let's get the transaction talk out of the way, because I think once we get into the games, once we get into this game, we're just gonna
Off the rails.
We're not going to talk about other games.
Yes.
So.
No, and I agree. I am planning fully to talk about these games as a whole. Like, we're not going to break down really anything because there's just a lot to talk about with the way this team's been playing. So I agree. Let's do it. Let's Bill chooses his own adventure, and we're going to talk transactions, and you're dead. Bye, everybody.
That's basically it. Jimmy Snuggerud on IR.
So, we'll start there. So, the Blues did place Nathan Walker and Jimmy Snuggerud on IR this week. Alexey Toropchenko was listed as week to week. Let's talk about Toropchenko first. Week to week, after he sustained scalding burns to his legs in a home accident, that's got to come out at some point, right? What is going on? What did he do?
Tried to fry a turkey, right?
That's what everybody keeps saying. Fried a turkey.
That's. I mean, that's the only thing I could think. It's nuts. But this year's, like, they covered it in the Saturday Blues game, right? Like the crazy, Jack Hughes cutting his fucking finger off in his steakhouse, right? And what was the other? There was another crazy one this year. Just things are bizarre things happening to NHL players.
Wasn't it Joe Sakic that almost had his arm chopped off with a snowblower when he was playing?
It
was something weird with a snowblower.
I think you're right.
Let me see if I can find it. Snowblower. That's a weird thing to look up. Joe Sakic snowblower. Yep. Yeah, 3 months snowblower accident in 2008. Let's see, injuries to repair 3 broken fingers and tendon damage as a result of a snowblower accident at his home. Wow, yeah. Nothing really else in there, but yeah, right there, that's nuts. But it's rare you hear stuff like that, and we've had 3 this year. Very weird. I'm gonna go ahead and take a guess and say he was doing the firewalk challenge, and as he was going across, somebody pushed him. And he fell, and scalding burns to his legs. That's my guess. I think it's completely plausible. And then
probably.
Do you have a guess? Is it the turkey frying incident?
I mean, that's the only thing that just seasonally it fits, but I don't know. We'll see if we ever, it's. Maybe the Blues PR people are still reeling from the Eric Johnson golf cart thing.
Yeah.
And it'll never come out.
Ken Morris in the chat says, boiling water for a strong cup of Russian tea. That's possible. And maybe because his tea had vodka in it, that's why he took a sip too early. That was a total generalist comment about Russians, and I apologize to any Russian listeners. But Hail Gorbachev. All right. That one was fine. So Jimmy Snuggerud, left wrist injury that will require surgery. He is placed on IR and will be reevaluated in 6 weeks. He's had 11 points in 26 games. I will say I saw a lot of people freaking out about this. And yes, obviously since then the Blues have not looked great. But I'll say he was looking very bland for this injury. I think he didn't have any points in the last 7 games that he played. And I just didn't think he looked very dangerous. And I'm not saying that this is a welcomed injury. There's no such thing as that. But I just thought, this is one I feel like the Blues could overcome. You got guys that can step in. Buchnevich, you have to hope, picks his game up, which he did score tonight, as we said. And you got to think of guys like Kaskimaki can step in. well, part of me was like maybe Nathan Walker starts putting up more goals, but obviously that's not going to be the case. So I just thought, this is when I think they could absorb. Dvorsky maybe gets more minutes and plays better. So I wasn't too concerned with this, but obviously at the same time, any injury to a young player at all is concerning. But we saw how quick Jake Neighbors returned. So maybe it'll be the same here for Snuggerud.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like the, young guy with the best shot on the team going under the knife to repair a vital part of that shooting mechanism. That doesn't give me any warm and fuzzies. To me, I think the biggest disappointment was it always felt like he was just a game away from breaking out and going on a tear and actually, making a push for the Calder. Not going to happen now, right? There's just Matthew Schaefer's having a hell of a year. Demidov might get a push towards the end, but
Jesper Wallstead is still considered a rookie.
He is really, really goosing my fantasy team numbers, man. I couldn't believe he was still available. But he's making a great push. Wilder losing, I turned the game off, but it was 1-0, and he wasn't in net, so I blame it on Gustafsson. But Seneca from Anaheim, he is having a hell of a year too. So no chance for Snuggie, at this point to have any real consideration for the Calder. So it's disappointing to me. This is like the one that hurts the most, because he was the guy that you could count on to give a shit every night. And I think that's what this team's missing, a lot of give a shit. And yeah, him being out of the lineup is a big problem for that.
Yep. We have our comment of the show. So congratulations to you, Matt Harris.
It's not working.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Oh, no. Did I lose it? Hang on.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
All right, it worked. It worked.
All right. There we go. Fixed it. Okay. I'll say I could hear it. That's very odd. Anyway, comment of the show goes to Matt Harris. The most unfortunate news is that Buchnevich injury news. He's perfectly healthy. Yes, I agree with that 100%.
Except between the ears.
Yes. And then Nathan Walker is a upper body injury. He'll be reevaluated in 8 weeks. I'm going to guess it's a broken wrist. He blocked a shot in that game, and it was it looked bad. And I thought, ooh, and I think that's exactly what it was. Could be something else, but to me, you kind of look for the incident that caused it. That looked bad. So I think that's what it was. He had 9 points in 25 games this season. Bill, I've got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Shoot.
So
seems more like a math problem.
No, it's not. Well, question. Kind of. Not maybe. Depends on what you think math is. So I would say 6 or 7. There's a reason why, and I'll just go ahead and say the reason why. There are 6 or 7 players who have been here longer than Nathan Walker for the Blues, which is kind of surprising because it feels like he really hasn't been here that long, but he was signed in 2019 after the Cup win. So he has been here for 6 years. And I'll say 6 or 7 because Oscar Sundqvist is one of those guys. But clearly he was traded and then signed back here a couple years later. So it's debatable whether you want to include him or not. But who are the other, 6 players? Who are the other 6 players that have been here longer than Nathan Walker?
Colton Parayko.
Yeah.
Robert Thomas. Braden Shen.
Yeah.
And this is pretty easy, going to the guys that are still here from the Cup team.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Binnington.
Yep.
Jordan Kyrou.
Yep. one more.
Going up and down the lineup. You already said Sundquist is, we're not going to include him. And it's hard to include corpses too. So another reason not to. Who
signed
Justin Falk.
Justin Falk. There you go. You got them all. Yeah. Falk and Kyrou both did get a game in before him. So they are technically longer served players. But still, very impressive to me that he is basically 7th or 8th, however you want to look at it, for most tenured players here in St. Louis. Very odd. And yes, I did not even realize I did that. Everybody's in the chat. 6 or 7, 6 or 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. I will admit I do that to my nieces and nephews constantly because it pisses them off because they're like, you're making it not funny. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
That's what adults do.
Goal. Everyone did that to me when I say da bomb as a kid and all that in a bag of chips. So in their places, the Blues did call up Aleksanteri Kaskimaki and Matt Luff. And Kaskimaki is 21. Luff is 28. I actually didn't realize he was that old. He's been in 17 games for the Thunderbirds this season, led the team with 7 goals and 14 points. He's recorded 226 points in 296 career AHL games. So I would say he's earned the call up, I think. He's appeared in 106 career NHL games as well, playing with the Kings, Predators, and Red Wings. He's got 15 goals and 27 points with 20 penalty minutes in that time. So, Luff is a guy, obviously not going to be a mainstay here, I wouldn't think, unless they start really unloading some of the rostered players. But definitely, I think we'll get a look here, especially after this game tonight. Why not? See what the kid's got, see what he can do. Because I do think a fresh injection of new faces is never a bad thing for this roster.
No. And I think the Blues did a great job on this call-up of really balancing out the loss of syllables in the lineup. Snuggerud, Toropchenko. I mean, Aleksanteri Kaskimaki right there. It takes care of it all. Beautiful job. Beautiful job.
So just bring in 2 more syllables after that. Matt Luff.
That's it. Done.
Yep. We fixed it.
That's what us word people like to see. Right?
Yes. I will say, and I've said this now for a while, Aleksanteri Kaskimaki is one of my favorite names already in the NHL. So now I can officially call him an NHL player. Just an absolutely crazy name. I feel like with every syllable, you're taking like a different left turn, and you're just like, Kaskimaki. Like it's out there. Like
when you hear Alexander, like, okay, we're done. No, it keeps going.
It keeps going.
Aleksanteri. It's like Alex and Terry.
Alex and Terry. Maybe that was his parents' names. Alex and Terry. Oh, good stuff. But yeah, so Kaskimaki did make his debut. I did think it was funny how basically, so he, for those that maybe not have seen it or didn't know, he made his call up on Monday. I was going to play Monday night against Anaheim, and the St. Louis weathered him and could not land in time. Plane was delayed, could not get there in time, so they had to play 11 forward, 7 defensemen with Tyler Tucker being the extra defenseman. So he did not get to play in his NHL debut. So then what does he do? Gets right back on a plane last night, comes back to Boston, which is literally 90 miles from where he was playing in Springfield, where he took his flight. And now he plays his first game 90 miles from his AHL club. So for Kaskimaki, just an interesting trip to get to the NHL. But for him, I was happy to see, wearing number 65 tonight, that he was finally able to get into a game.
Did they give him the rookie lap?
Yeah,
they did. I didn't leave the office till after the game started tonight and tried to listen. And by the time I got to listening, it was already it was just about to go 2-0. So
I really enjoyed. We got some other comments here too. Ken Morris, his name sounds like an interstellar solar system from Star Trek. Yes. And then I love Big Beaver. He probably had a Frontier flight. I don't know if I've ever, and I'm not going to tell it now because it's too long, but I've got a Frontier story that I would love to share on the show sometime. That I literally was stranded in Colorado, and luckily I just bought a flight on Southwest and just skipped my second flight from Frontier. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't Frontier. I do not want to talk bad about Frontier. I've actually never had a bad experience with Frontier. It is this one, Baked Beaver, or better yet, Spirit.
Yes.
Spirit Airlines stranded me in Colorado, and I literally just bought a flight to my destination, and I'm literally sitting on the Southwest flight, canceling my Spirit flight. And it's funny because I tell that story, and I've literally had other people say, "Oh yeah, I've done the same thing." Like I was supposed to, fly out of Dallas or whatever, and Frontier just was like, "Nope, we canceled your flight." Or, "Oh," for me it was they moved my flight back 12 hours. Yeah. And I'm like, I am not going to sit in a Colorado airport for 12 hours.
Although, the Great Divide Brewing Company has a great location there at Denver International. So you could have gotten well and good and drunk.
That is true. But the thing is that I was going to Las Vegas for a bachelor party. So I was already planning on going somewhere and getting drunk. So I was not just going to sit in an airport and do it.
Yeah. You had your priorities right.
Yes, exactly.
You could win that money back anyway when you got to Vegas.
That did not happen either.
Sure it didn't.
Yeah, by the way, I was refunded for the flight, but because it was you're flying with Spirit to Colorado and then to Vegas, they refunded me $17. They're like, "Well, your first flight was $125," and I'm like, "Fine, as long as I never have to deal with you people again." And that's literally what I said, and I hung up the phone. Like, done, never dealing with Spirit again.
All right, so I will say we're gonna have to have a little beer debate here because Big Beaver.
Here we go.
Since we're in St. Louis, we don't get all of the really good deep cut Denver breweries, but Great Divide will always have a special place in my heart because of Yeti and all the different variants of Yeti that they do. And I will drink that all day, any day, especially if I'm stuck in an airport. So
yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
God, I hate that I already gave comment of the show because this one's fantastic. Matt Harris again. Frontier fucked my wife in front of me. Would not recommend.
All right. You made me lose my shit.
Wow. Oh, I'm still getting over this sinus infection. So thank you, Matt, for making me lose it. All right, let's move on. The Blues acquired Akil Thomas in a trade with the Kings in exchange for Nikita Alexandrov. Thomas reported to the Blues AHL affiliate, the Springfield Thunderbirds. Thomas is 25. He's recorded 4 goals and 13 points in 19 games with the Kings AHL affiliate, the Ontario Reign, this season. He's also appeared in 32 career NHL regular season games with the Kings and recorded 4 goals and 7 points in that time. He was originally drafted by the Kings in the second round, 51st overall of the 2018 NHL draft. So I did reach out to our friend of the show, Eddie Garcia of the Puck Podcast and the Locked On LA Kings podcast, and just kind of asked him, what can you tell me about Akil Thomas? So I will read you verbatim what he texted me back. He says, quote, "He has some skill, but more of a blue-collar, hard-working player. He's not afraid to battle in the corners and in front of the net. He brings toughness and will hit. He's not the biggest guy, but plays bigger than his size. He seems to be a tweener between the AHL and a bottom 6 NHL player." And I heard a lot of people say, and we can say what we want about Alexandrov, but this was kind of a trade for both teams. It was like, this guy's not really working out for us. We'd like to, get more out of him. but it's not working. So let's see if we can trade him and get somebody in return that maybe is facing the same problem. And it sounds like that's what's going on with the Kings, with Akil Thomas. And I think the Blues would definitely agree with that with Nikita Alexandrov. Just could not seem to make that next jump to the NHL. Very talented. Just, one of those guys that's like, is he top line NHL? I'm sorry, top line AHL or bottom six NHL? And for Alexandrov, I think it was very much, he is a top line talent in the AHL, but he's got the skills. He's got everything he needs to be a good bottom six forward in the NHL. Just could not bring it all together. So maybe a change of scenery will help him. And it sounds like the Blues have the same thought here with Akil Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, I said my goodbyes to Nikita Alexandrov 2 years ago. The guy was never going to crack this roster. I was surprised when they signed him to the two-way deal, knowing he was never going to come back. So good luck to him. In Ontario with the Rhine. I don't know, whatever. Rhine. It's the whole California calls it Ontario and not Ontario.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Ontario Rhinestone Cowboys, I believe, is their full name.
Yes, which actually would have been great for the Coachella Valley to have gone with that because that would have fit perfectly with the culture there. But no, my theory on this trade is that it's the Blues looking to save money in roster or in jersey redos, and next year, when Robert Thomas is no longer on this team, they'll just give Akil Thomas. He'll be wearing 18
with an A
here. Yes, the A goes on the front of the jersey. It stands for Akil, not alternate captain.
Oh, right. That's what I used to tell people with when I wear my McInnes and Pronger jerseys. I would tell like non-hockey fans, like, oh, they're like, what is the A? And I'm like, oh, that's Al. His name's Al McInnes. And then when we're Chris Pronger, I'd say, yeah, the C is for Chris Pronger. And they really thought that. And so when there was somebody else in my school who used to wear a Turgeon jersey and they had an A on it. And I go, oh, well, it's because his name it's spelled like A. Pierre, but the A is silent. And people believe me. Dumb kids.
It
sounds like Big Beaver.
Politically, we got where we are today.
Right. Yep. It's because of my comments in middle school. But yeah, Big Beaver, it sounds like he enjoyed Matt's comment as much as we did. He said he spilled beer all over his wrist to that comment. And he says he's grabbing another beer to cheers that comment. So yes, that might actually have to be our comment of the show.
Yeah. Well, we can't keep giving that out, right? It's
I gave it out too early.
You did.
Yep. I let it out too early there. Matt, go ahead and make a joke about that. I know you
want. So Ken brings up the Habs using Alexander Texier, another Blues reject, quickly claimed up by another property of the NHL. Last year was Brandon Saad. This year is Texier. And they gave him top 6 minutes, and he came pretty close, but it kind of seemed like his tenure with the Blues, right? Guy looks like he might be able to do something, but then never really does. But he didn't look out of place. So
4 games with the Canadiens so far. He has 2 assists and is a -2 with 4 shots on goal. So that's about what he was doing here. Putting up points here and there, but not consistent enough to be a top 6 forward.
Yeah. On an injury-depleted Habs squad.
So again, we don't really want to break this game down tonight. There's no point. It's same old with this team. I'll say, okay, just talking about this game in general. And Bill, I know you caught at least most of the game. I know you said you missed a little bit of the start.
Yeah.
Matt Harris, that's a great idea. Sorry, I'm very easily distracted with my ADHD. He says, can I get a comment of the show plaque, a trophy maybe? We'll look into it. That would be fun to pass that on to you, because you've clearly gotten most of the comment of the shows that we've had in this show's tenure. We've been doing that now for about 8 years. And we haven't really been officially doing it either. It's just me going, "Oh, come to the show," and there's no debate, there's no talk. It's just me claiming it. So, yeah, but we'll do it. We'll figure out something for you there, Matt. So this game, I thought it's easy to say that they lost this game because they went down in a 2-0 hole. When Korpisalo played very well in goal for Boston. Don't get me wrong. And they couldn't score. But I will say, I actually don't even think that is what sealed their fate tonight. I think what sealed their fate, obviously they came out in the second period. They scored that goal. It was that Buchnevich's goal. Let's see, how early was that into the period? That was 1:59. So basically right at the 2-minute mark. They scored that goal. And it was a nice goal by Buchnevich, don't get me wrong. And they just kept pressuring. And then, Bill, let me get this whole statement out, because I know you're going to have a comment on it, as you should. I thought the third goal on Binnington, that was the one, the Victor Arvidsson one. Yeah. I thought that one was very weak. I thought he could have had that one. But then I thought the Blues still came back and played well. And I thought, okay, 3-1, it's still fine. Like, they could still come back in this game. The Bruins aren't the world beaters they used to be. But then I thought, and I'm not blaming Binnington on this one, the Pavel Zacha one, no defense at all. Zacha just skates it into the slot, shoots and scores. Nobody on him. And it just looked like the Blues had no idea what he was going to do, which he did what any forward do. You give me the middle, I'm going to take it. And I thought the backbreaker in this game was not the 2-0 lead. It was the bad goal by Binnington for the third goal and the bad goal by the defense. And by defense, I mean the 5 guys on the ice, to allow the Pavel Zacha goal. And I think that is what sealed this team. I think it was they had so much pressure and they looked so good. But then literally the Bruins would just skate down and score twice in that period. And then they added another one in that second period later. Well, it was right at the end of the period, but the game was already decided at that point. When it was 3-1, that's when 4-1 was when I said, this is over. They are not coming back from this, because they could literally hold the puck into the zone for 19 minutes and 40 seconds of the third period. And somehow Boston will skate down in the 20 seconds they have the puck in the offensive zone, and they'll score, because this team does not know how to defend. And no offense to Binnington, I thought he played very well tonight. That third goal was backbreaking. That is my take on this game.
Typical non-goalie. So I get it. I get it's the reaction, right? Because it's a bad angle shot, right? So I will grant you it was a bad angle shot, but it was nothing, not even close to the 2 fucking disaster goals that he gave up against Anaheim, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But because those are the last 2 goals in everybody's mind, this is automatically going to be looked at as a bad goal. That shot by Victor Arvidsson was fucking perfect, right? It had a little bit of change up like they talked about, and it was just under the bar. But I went back, because that was my knee-jerk reaction, was the same thing. Like, how the fuck can you let another bad angle goal in? He played that like almost as perfectly as you can, because if he stands up, Arvidsson's going to try to go and shoot low, which is, kind of how the 2 previous goals happened, right? The first goal against Anaheim happened. So he plays it in the, more of a reverse VH, where he's trying to stand tall on the post, and Arvidsson found that half inch of space and beat him. It was a beautiful goal. I I really didn't like him on the Zacha goal. He backed in too quickly. But I will say that to me, that was a problem between whoever the defenseman was and Kaskimaki. Kaskimaki should have been like balls to the wall, back checking on Zacha, and he just kind of, I'm gonna throw my stick at you, and doesn't even really try to make a play on the puck. And it's an NHL 94 goal. Walk into the slot, shoot upper glove. That's exactly what Zacha did. Binnington got too deep too quick and gave that up.
Okay, I'll agree that Binnington gets a little too deep. He's not on top of his crease. He's more mid crease in that. But I'll add, what is Cam Fowler doing on that play?
Right.
I just watched it again, and yeah, it's one of those. And I'll say, any kids watching that kind of like skate kind of backwards, but then you like hold your stick out and you're trying to poke like as you're skating and like kind of facing the other way. That never works. Like Fowler's positioning on that was horrendous, because I'm like looking at it, I'm like, what do you do? You're not doing anything. All that you're doing is, if he decides to poke it into the corner, it might bounce off your stick or your skate. But he's not going to do that. It's an offensive breakout. He's not going to poke it into the corner. So Fowler just stiff-armed, getting his stick out and just, I'm just going to wave my stick at him as I'm skating with him. That does nothing. You've got to take the body, or at the very least, when you read the body positioning and know he's going to shoot, get the stick in the lane and tip it over the glass. Like, what he did was so wrong. And I'll agree with you on Kaskimaki too. That was not a good play by Kaskimaki. But being in his first NHL game, I'm willing to give him a pass. Cam Fowler is the veteran here, just signed an extension. That guy needs to body it up, or, like I said, at the very least, make an actual poke check attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just, again, the stiff arm shit. I hate that. And I see it with this team all the time. Colton Parayko does that all the time, but it drives me nuts.
What's the word that we heard all the time down the stretch with the Blues D last year after the Four Nations? They were really good at covering their gaps and at gap control. This year, it is the exact opposite, and that play highlights that, right? Fowler backed in too far, which I think is why Binnington started creeping back in his net. I mean, great shot by Zacha, but, if Binnington is out 2 inches, he gets a piece of it.
Yep, I agree. And talking about gap coverage, oh, good Lord, those first 2 goals. I'll say Alex, which, by the way, Alex Steves, change your name. Every time I hear it, I'm like, wait, Alex Steen is on the Bruins?
Right.
Like, ugh, I hate that. But Alex Steves was all over the ice tonight, had a very good game. And, I think 2 points on the game. But the cross crease pass from Geekie, and then the second goal, the one where Geekie was left all alone in front.
Because Steves took out both Parayko and Broberg on the same check.
Now, I will say that something Vitali was complaining about was both defensemen in the corner. And yes, typically 100% never the right play. But I'll say on that goal too, your forwards need to come back. And I think Vitali did say that too at one point, that, if both defensemen are caught, you need to rely on your forwards to step in. And I think it was, and I know we bitch about him all the time, I think it was Buchnevich, who was just kind of in no man's land. Like, he was, yeah, it was. I'm watching it right now. It was Buchnevich. He kind of backs off, and I think he kind of expected, because the 2 Blues defensemen were going into the corner. He's like, oh, and I think Dvorsky was there too. Dvorsky. I think he thought, I need to get ready for a breakout pass. But it's the same thing, and you've probably heard me preach it with our beer league team. Puck out first. You've got defense first all the time. I don't care if it's a 0-0 game or a 5-0 game. Defense first. And Buchnevich was not doing that on that play. And I'm not just going to put it all on Buchnevich. I agree. Both defensemen should not be in the corner on one guy. And if you are, you got to win that puck battle. You can't let him get it right in front to a wide open Morgan Geekie, who, by the way, has 21 goals this year. How there's not one guy who's just sticking on him at all times at this point, I'll never understand. But to me, Buchnevich needs to have the wherewithal to say, well, both our defensemen are in the corner. Dvorsky's down there too. This Geeky guy is stepping right in front. Nobody's on him. I need to come in and at least disrupt the pass. But he didn't. He started to skate towards him right as the pass came. And by that time, it's way too late. So for me, just a complete breakdown by this team. And, you see guys like, and we all go back to the Red Wings days and their heyday. They were all so good about playing as a 5-man unit. Defenseman would get caught in a corner. Maybe a guy got checked and he's down and the other defenseman turns the puck over. You've got two guys, forwards, coming back and playing defense and literally playing like they're defensemen, picking up guys in front, not letting the high danger chances come in. And again, the Red Wings of those days were ridiculous. And I'm not saying I expect the Blues to play like them, but they need to play better than this. This type of goal should not happen this often. And again, same thing with the first goal. Steve's wide open on the far side. Parayko's doing nothing to try and block the pass. Just horrible defensive coverage tonight.
Yeah, there was absolutely nothing Binnington could have done on those first two goals, right? And I said it in the chat in our podcast Slack that this team's just trash, right? They cannot face any adversity. And I mean, they came out I was shocked when they started talking about the shot count in the third period. I'm like, how the fuck do we have almost 40 shots? Well, apparently that was part of the game that I didn't get to see as I was leaving work. They had a great start but got stymied, and I think that's a problem. A problem for this team is they face a little bit of adversity. Robert Thomas starts puckering up and getting frustrated and pissed off. And instead of having an outlet into his play and playing with more grit and determination, he just starts, huffing and puffing and giving up. And that's why you see him benched for the fourth time this season.
The thing, and I know we've complained about it so many times on this show, you see him do this thing, and we see it in beer league, and again, not to keep comparing us to the Blues, but you see guys they'll lose the puck in their feet, and then they'll just head in the sky, just and it's keep moving. Yeah, you lost the puck, but it's still right there. Just keep going. And you see that with Robert Thomas. He'll lose the puck, he'll make a nice stick handling play, but then somebody will poke it, and it's right behind him. And I'm not saying he's going to catch up to him, but at the very least, stop, turn around, and maybe you got a chance of at least stopping these guys on the breakout. But instead, he just slowly skates to the corner with his head in the air, oh, I can't believe I screwed that up. And it's do that when you're on the bench. Don't do that in the middle of the play. And he might be the worst star I've seen about that kind of thing. I've seen it with even Ovechkin's. I mean, everybody does it. It'll happen. Dude, the puck's still at your feet. Keep moving. But Thomas, I feel it's every time he loses the puck. Dude, get back on your horse and either back check or try to get the puck back or go to the bench. Don't just skate to the corner with your head up.
Yeah, he's to me, the question at the beginning of the year, right, that we talked about from, when we were all trying to hate on Dom, is Robert Thomas elite? The answer is no. He's a second tier center, right? He would be a 2C on a good team, right? But he is not elite enough to bring this team up a notch. And that's what everybody wants from him. He's not that guy.
You know what's frustrating
love
for
to
me
see him
about
prove
that?
us wrong, but
and that's the thing is the thing that I All right, I'm going to say this, and I've said this on the show before. We've been doing this show for 15 years. And so, yes, we were doing this show when Barrett Jackman was on the roster. But I'll say it again to anybody who wasn't listening then. I never liked Barrett Jackman on this team. I was never a fan. I always, and the thing that annoyed me the most, and I know Kurt used to make fun of me for saying this, because I think this predates you. I always said that I actually liked Eric Brewer more than Barrett Jackman, as hard as that is to believe. Because to me, Eric Brewer was less talented than Barrett Jackman, which I think we'd all agree with. But Barrett Jackman, there was times where he would just give up on plays. If you go back and watch the game winning, I think it was an overtime, right? Game 4 of the 2009 run the Blues had, and they lost in 4 games straight to the Canucks. There was a play.
Alexander Burrows.
Yes, where him and I think it was Henrik Sedin went into the corner. Puck just gets flipped in. Jackman just plays defense, like just kind of lollygags back into his zone. And Sedin just skates his ass off, gets the puck first. Jackman clearly should have had it first. Didn't try. Puck in front. Burrows scores. Season over. And that play was everything Barrett Jackman was to me. Because I'm like, the dude has skill. He's got talent. He's a good defenseman. But he just gives up. And I don't know if it was like, and every year we always heard, oh, Barrett Jackman was playing injured. And I'm like, then why the hell is he playing? And I didn't mean to turn this into a Barrett Jackman rant, but I'm comparing him to Robert Thomas, because I do think Robert Thomas, I think he has the skill and he has the ability to be a top line center. Now, is he Connor McDavid? Is he Jack Eichel? No. But for the Blues, I could see him being a top line center. I really think he could be, but I don't even want to call it effort. It's just more confidence.
It's mentality.
Mentality.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
I think that's the biggest issue with him right now. At this point in his career, right? We all know he has the talent. He definitely could be elite. But the mentality, and maybe he's like, give me somebody who is consistently good enough to play on my wing. And, that's, I will say, like, at this point, I am fucking done. Like, if I'm Doug Armstrong and Alex Steen, I am going to Jim Montgomery and saying, if you fucking hit this switch up the line shit for, like in the next game, if you don't play everybody consistently on the same fucking line, night in, night out, maybe change it up if there's a penalty kill that you need to make an adjustment for to give somebody a break. But if you're just going to consistently pull guys off and on lines, you're never going to get chemistry. And I think the team is really suffering at this point from it. And apparently I'm upsetting my dogs here, so I've calmed down a little bit. But I think that Montgomery is trying too hard, right? There's a comment in here, Big Beaver, got to feel sorry for Monty. Yes, to an extent, but at the same time, he has got to stop trying to influence the game. He's got to allow his players the chance to have a cohesiveness and work. And pulling Snuggerud off of the Thomas line early in the season was a terrible decision. And then keeping him slotted there on the third line, terrible decision. And if I'm the brass of this organization, I am telling him, you have got to put players in a position to succeed and keep them there. I don't care if they have a bad shift. You cannot constantly switch it up.
Yeah.
Let there be a chance for chemistry. And it's like, and you watch the broadcasters are like, the juggling got to the point that they're like, oh, it's the line from last year. It's Holloway, Shen, and Kyrou. They were great down the stretch. They were the line last year. That was one fucking shift, right? It's just the randomness of the lines that he's throwing out there. It's gotta stop.
Yep. And I'll agree. Yeah. And so, okay. First of all, going back to the thing you said a couple minutes ago, I actually almost put as a topic in here, was Dom right?
He is. At this point,
this year he is. He's 100% right. This team is not a playoff team. Robert Thomas is not elite, and the goaltending is a problem. And it's not just the goaltending, but the defensive structure as well is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's the way it's shown to me. And I'll tell you, and you're kind of alluding to it, I'm not going to sit here and blame the coach because, again, this is how many coaches have we gone through? I am concerned about the coaching because I have a friend who's a Bruins fan, and she said to me a couple weeks ago, you are now seeing why Jim Montgomery was fired in Boston, because he's lost control of what's going on with this team, and his reaction is every shift it's going to be a new line. And, coaches love to do that. Don't get me wrong. Every single coach that's ever
and
coached
Hitchcock
in the NHL,
was the worst, and I still fucking hate him to this day for it.
Yes. And that
Among
is
other
definitely
things.
Well, yes, that too. You just really hate fat people. I mean, let's just be honest.
I hate myself.
Yeah, that's right. But no, every coach does it, but to an extent. Like, I remember getting mad at Joel Quenneville for it, and back in the day when before he protected sexual predators, and I remember getting mad at him. But then, like, every time I'd say it, my dad would be like, "Well, Brian Sutter used to do it, and Keenan did it, and every coach before, Bob Berry did it, and it's true, but it's how much they do it." And you're right, man. You hit the nail on the head, because I was going to say the exact same thing. We heard on the broadcast, well, he's put together the Holloway, Shen, Kyrou line, and looks like, this line was so good last year, and trying to get some chemistry out of them. I literally think it was 2 shifts he did that, and then he changed it again.
Yep.
And I'm just like, you got to give him more than that. I mean, and they had one really good shift. The first shift, we noticed it. They were in the offensive zone the whole time. Why did you change that again? Like, give them at least a game to try and find that chemistry again. He doesn't do that, and that is highly concerning.
Yeah, I mean, something's going to give with this team. It's either going to be, it's not going to be Montgomery. He's got a 5-year contract. He's not going to get let go. It's either going to be, Steve Ott, who's been there the longest at this point. I mean, I still don't know what Claude Julien does on this team.
Yeah, good question.
But more than likely, it's going to be Mike Weber. But the other thing, and they kind of alluded to this on the broadcast tonight, right, is their execution's not there. So who's the skills coach on this team, right? And how, are they going to get turned over yet again, right? Something's got to happen. I don't think that with Steen coming in as the GM next year, unless he's the one that orchestrates the trade, I don't think you're going to see a big move. But it feels like that's what this team needs, is they need a subtraction. Right? They need something as a wake-up call, whether it's, and at this point, I would not, I don't think any player on this team is safe from a trade.
No.
And the guy that I would want traded the least is Snuggerud. Yeah. But at this point, Thomas, he's working himself into a change of scenery kind of.
I'm 100% on board with the Thomas trade. As much as I love the guy, and I hope he pulls his head out of his ass, at this point, I'm with you. He's not a number 1 center. He takes too many games off. And like I said earlier, the whole head in the sky things drives me nuts. Yeah, I mean, if you can move him, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying just get rid of him. Pavel Buchnevich, I would say just get rid of him. Just put him on waivers and be done with them. Not saying that about Thomas. I think Robert Thomas is a guy that has a lot of value and other teams will value. But yeah, at this point, if you would have said last year, how would you feel about a Robert Thomas trade? I would have been like, it's got to be a really good deal. At this point, I'm like, give me a fair deal. Give me something that just gets him out of here and a decent player back in return. Guy that I can't think of an example of somebody who just needs a change of scenery. But, well, and you look at a guy like, he's a little older, but like a Chris Kreider that went from New York to Anaheim. They love him in Anaheim this year. He's playing fantastic. He fell off the radar in New York. And I'm kind of looking at the same thing. Get rid of Thomas, let him go get 100 points somewhere else, and bring in a guy who could, maybe needs a change of scenery too. We kind of saw it on a lower scale with the Akil Thomas and Alexandrov trade. I'm all for it. If it's the right trade, yeah, 100%. Let's do it. Anyway. A lot of stuff to talk about on this show that we could get into, but I don't think it's really worth it. Just because it's been frustrating, and I think at this point, we all want the same thing. We all want a trade. We all want certain guys to not play.
Right. I mean, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't say, how great it felt going, coming out of the back-to-back Friday, Saturday games. That they look like an NHL caliber team. 2 really good home wins. That Buchnevich getting the fluff of a goal against Ottawa. You're hoping, oh man, this is going to be what breaks this guy out. Come back with that resilient 1-0 win over Utah, the team that has fucking dominated you and is playing for Clayton Keller. Right on, after his dad died unexpectedly, those were 2 emotional wins, and you're like, oh, we're gonna come in against Anaheim, team that we own, and we're gonna do great, and we shit the bed. But Anaheim's a really good fucking team. Say what you want about Quenneville, but he's got that team playing really fucking well. Not that Jordan Binnington was good in that game.
No. That was the one thing I wanted to mention, and we can talk about the poll itself, but why the hell did Binnington start that game? And I know this is our number one complaint on this show about how the Blues manage goaltending. You go back 15 years, we're having this argument 15 years ago. Not argument, we don't argue, we all agree that why are they doing that? Why do they do this? The scheduled start. So, yes, Binnington played pretty well against Ottawa, but then Hofer comes in, and it was only 18 saves, but he gets the shutout, second shutout of the season. And you're going, and again, it's not like it's, a crazy schedule this week.
You got 3 days off until the next game.
Right. You had Saturday, and then you had Monday, and then you had Thursday, and then back-to-back this weekend, which clearly both guys will get in this weekend. Why not start Hofer against the Ducks? But Binnington goes back in after a Hofer shutout and gets yanked after 2 goals on 5 shots in halfway through the first period.
It's 2 terrible goals.
Horrible. And, okay, so let me ask you, the first goal. I've seen a lot of people defend that goal and say, oh, well, it was deflected. That was so far out, right, that he should have had that. That's a save to me.
Yeah. Whether or not it went off Fowler's stick, that he had plenty of time to compact himself enough that doesn't get through him, but it did, right? I'm a shitty beer league goalie backup that's been called up, so I'm not putting myself anywhere near the skill level that Binnington has. The only thing between me and him is I wear old pair of his pads. But that puck should not go in, right? And then the second goal, he way overcommitted on, and again, very, very lax defensively by the Blues.
Yeah.
And it was an okay shot. It wasn't like a world beater shot. I really think the Arvidsson goal tonight was a great shot, but that second goal was bad. He totally deserved to get pulled. And I I like the fieriness, right? And I think that's why he got the call again tonight. But I think the call to put him in was the wrong one against Anaheim.
I just, and again, I'm not, excuse me. It's not like Binnington was coming off a bad game against Ottawa. It's just, to me, and I'll say that was one thing that Hitchcock did that I always appreciated. Hey, if you get the shutout, you're back in the net.
Right.
I did appreciate that. I think that's the way to go. That I just don't understand why coaches don't go with that. Well, I say coaches. I think a lot do. Montgomery's the only one that doesn't seem to care. And it's just it blows my mind, because it's just like, it makes sense to me. Like, your guy played a hot game. He just got a shutout. His confidence is sky high. Get him back in there. Let's see what he can do.
Well, I don't. Montgomery, if there's any fault with Montgomery, he's not overriding whatever decision's been being made since Bannister was the coach of this team.
That's true.
Right? You go back 2 years ago, and this is definitely a Binnington game. Oh, over goes out and gives up 5 goals on 30 shots. Right? And we're still like, we cannot define the decision process on who gets the net tonight for the St. Louis Blues.
There's no definition. It's literally, and I'm not saying they're like putting names in a hat, but it's like, it's literally, think it is, dude, what you said before. It's like, well, we got a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. It's going to go Binnington, Hofer, Binnington. Binnington could have the worst game of his life on Sunday, so we'll put Hofer in the next game, and then on Thursday, it doesn't matter how well Hofer played. Hofer could get a 49 save shutout, but we're going to put Binnington back in next game just because that's the schedule we came up with.
And Hofer's clearly tired from 49 saves the night before.
Well, okay, that yes, but I'm just making, you get my point, that it doesn't matter what Hofer does in that second game. And then same thing with Binnington. Binnington get, if it's a Binnington Hofer split, and it's not none back to back, it's like Binnington in that third game could have an incredible game, but Hofer is going to go in next game no matter what. And I'm just like, and I have to wonder if some of that fire from Binnington was like, you got to let us get into a rhythm at some point. Like, yes, the 2 bad goals, I was perfectly fine with him pulling Binnington at that point. But again, the question for me is, why was he in there in the first place? But you're not letting these goalies get into rhythms at all. And it drives me crazy. I'm not saying, Binnington has, gets 5 starts and then there's a back-to-back and Hofer shouldn't play. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if he's playing well, keep him in there. Same as Hofer. It's a 1A, 1B situation. Get Hofer back in there. If Binnington has a, struggling night, Hofer, let him take the crease, and if he runs with it, let him run with it, And I really do believe, and I think we're seeing the same thing this year, a big reason why last season this team could not string together more than 2 wins for most of the year was partially because of this goalie scheduling. And it's rearing its ugly head again, I think. I think these goalies just, well, I know I'm not playing the next game, and like, there's just no way for them to get into a rhythm.
Yeah, I will never like it, without being shown the algorithm that they use. I'm never going to understand it.
I don't even think there is really an algorithm, Bill. I think it is literally just
a dartboard.
We got well, I think it's just, we've got 3 games this week. Let's see. Hofer played Friday. So game on Monday, let's go Binnington, Hofer, Binnington, I really think that's what it is. And it's just, no, let's go game by game. And Binnington played well. Let's play Binnington. Oh, Binnington got shelled. Let's play Hofer. Oh, Hofer played well. Keep Hofer in the net. It's not that hard. I really feel like that is basic hockey mathematics. It makes no sense to me.
No. Have you looked at hockey stat cards for tonight's game?
I have not.
All right. Oh, so who do you think was the worst player on the ice for the Blues? And I'll give you a hint. I don't think it's happened yet this year.
Okay. I'm gonna say Colton Parayko.
Second worst, Philip Broberg, worst player on
Broberg
the
did
ice.
not look good tonight. I was gonna say
No.
that earlier. Actually, he looked very pedestrian in this game, and by pedestrian I mean not moving his feet. Like he looked like he was watching the play all night.
Yeah. The couple times he tried to move forward, he always stutter stepped and just he didn't drive play tonight, and in fact had the least play driving of any player on the Blues. Top player, no surprise, Blaster Boy, pew pew, Pew Suitor. How is that not a thing, right? Pew 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 pew
pew pews.
Yes,
I do like that.
God, I can't believe I said that. But
I will say for the most, part, I didn't notice him a ton, but when I did notice him, he was making a really nice play.
Yeah. So I'll be remiss if there was any save of the week candidate tonight, it was Korpisalo.
Yes, I was going to say that
right before the Suter goal. I mean, that the save that he
was
made,
ridiculous.
Holy shit! And this is like, I just thinking about how tightly strapped my pads were in high school versus. And I think this is what throws everybody off, like what makes this looks like such an incredible save when it was just it's modern goaltending save. How loose the strapping is, and his pad was probably 4 inches from the boot of his skate when he threw that out there and made that beautiful save. Right there. When I played, everything was so ratcheted down, and yeah, it's such a different world these days, and I'm still getting used to it. Not that I could ever kick like that,
right?
That I will be out 6 weeks with the torn.
I was gonna say most goalies that I play with, and even like guys that I know in their 20s that are playing goal, they still do the full ratcheted down. But like I did talk to a friend of mine whose son plays goal, and he said that he said it's so weird, like he likes his skates loose. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, a lot of the kids on his team like their skates loose. And I'm like, no. Like, how are you skating? How are you moving? Like, and again, I know I've talked about on the show, I had that, serious foot issue a couple years ago that took me off the ice for 6 months because I had fractures on the outsides of both of my feet. And a big part of that is because I keep my skates so insanely tight because I just feel like I get all wobbly if they're not tight. And now I'm hearing like that's what kids want when they skate. I'm like, no, what is wrong with you? How are you able to move out there?
Yeah, I mean, for modern goaltending, the looseness of ankles is such a priority that it's a lot easier to play with. Like when I played, I was always like, get them as tight as you can, and now I'm like, nope, just need a little bit of support and that's it. And
I still to this day need them as tight as possible. It's crazy. I jump on the ice and they're not tight. Like I'll instantly jump off onto the bench for pregame and I'll relace them because I'm just like, no, need it tighter. And Big Beaver in the chat here. Holy cow. My buddy used to jump on the ice without lacing up. No. Oh my God. I would instantly break an ankle. Absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of at some point I remember, that was the, one of the rumors that the Russians would take the laces out, right? Sergei Fedorov, he had to play without laces in all of his practices, and that's why he could skate as well as he could.
It makes sense, but no, thank you.
Yeah, I now that there's the money that goes into the game, there's no way any national federation is going to risk their top player to do that.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, and I'll say that. So, people have asked me, because I've not had an issue with my feet ever since then, and we're coming on. God, that was 2 years ago that I was out. And so what I actually discovered that helped, I skip eyelets. Is that what they're called? The eyelets,
Yeah.
the things you lace them into.
Yep.
I skip 2 eyelets on each side, so 4 total eyelets on each skate. Because I've determined the areas of my feet that I need a little bit more room, so I skip eyelets in those spots, not consecutively. There's about 2 laces in between each eyelet. But yeah, that has helped a ton. It's allowed me to have the space that I need in the areas that I need it, but it still provides that, because for me, it was in the feet themselves, not the ankle. My ankles are still as tight as they've ever been, but the feet are a little looser. So I can actually, my feet can have a little bit of give as I skate and push off. And that's helped an unbelievable amount of, and it's funny because my teammates see the way I lace my skates now. They're like, "You're crazy. You're stupid." And I go, "Hey, I'm not in pain every single night anymore. So call me crazy if you want. The pain's gone. So that's all I care about."
Yeah.
Crazy how that works.
Yeah. And the biggest thing one of the biggest developments in goaltending equipment nowadays is the advent of the ski style strap up instead of laces. So the Bauer Connect system came on the scene about 4 years ago, and we're now in the Bauer Connect 2. If I had any mileage on my skates and was looking to upgrade, this is what I would go to. And there is a company, hopefully their supply chain issues have gotten better. Maybe I'll look at this, where you can buy a replacement for your standard lace up system that basically replaces with ski straps, and it's much more from everything I've read on hockey goalie Reddit. It makes it so much easier and low maintenance, in terms of having to worry about how you're strapped up.
So, Bill, I don't know if you saw this yet. I'm going to share it. So our friend Joe Schmo is in the chat, and there he is right there. That's Joe and me. And I know I shared this last week, but yeah, Joe showed up last week at the Ponder Cup and played for the green team. And I had the luck of beating them twice, which was nice. Once in the round robin and then the other time in the playoffs. And but Joe was a lot of fun to hang out with all day. And I heard, Joe, by the way, I've not told you this yet, I heard from a lot of your teammates, and they loved playing with you. And we all agree, we hope you come back for next year's Ponder Cup. That was a lot of fun. But Joe hadn't skated in a long, long time and drove in from Columbia. And the crazier thing, Bill, for me, was that he drove home from Columbia after playing in five or six games. 6 games. I think he played 6. And I'm just like, how? I play regularly, and if you told me I had to drive home from Columbia right now, I would laugh in your face. I would have literally just, if it was Columbia or sleep in the middle of the rink, I'm just using middle of the rink.
I not at Midwest Sport, man. That smell would have driven me out of there. I might have slept out in the parking lot, but yeah.
Woo, it was pretty cold.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome story. I do remember the last time I played in the tournament, and I dropped Kurt off because Kurt doesn't stop, so he went to a party at Helen Fitzgerald's. I saw a whole bunch of Coke deals go down to the parking lot while I was waiting for him.
Yeah.
And all I can remember is, I forgot to bring my glasses, so I was still wearing contacts, and I'm like, I gotta get these fucking things out. And yeah, I was so dead tired after that. I'm surprised I made it home that night.
Yeah, I'll say so. I mentioned my sinus infection earlier. I actually discovered that I had it that day. That was the day where I woke up and I'm like, oh God, I know I have a sinus infection. You got to be kidding me. Of all days, it's today.
Right.
And dude, I'm not kidding. The next day, that was probably the most sore I've ever been. And except for when I had COVID, I'll take that back. COVID was the worst. But no, I couldn't even get out of bed. Like sat up in bed and I went to like move my feet and it hurt so bad that I was like, nope. I just laid back down for like another hour. I'm like, I'm not even going to try to move. So yeah, it was rough. So again, driving home from Columbia, absolutely not. And then from Joe here, he says, had a great time. Anyone in the STL area should try to make it. Really appreciated my team putting up with my rust. Great guys. No, dude, Joe, you were a blast to hang out with. And again, really appreciate you making the trip. That was awesome seeing you. Maybe one day we'll get Bill back on the roller skates.
Yeah.
What is this? Baked Beaver. Anyone needing some entertainment in STL since the Blues can't provide, check out the Gateway Dirt Nationals. Phenomenal dirt racing in the Dome. I've never seen that, but I have friends who've gone and said it's great. So you ever watched dirt racing there, Bill?
Only when it's happening when I'm driving home. They have the kind of Excite Bike dirt track off to the, like, when you're heading 55 north back towards Madison County. They have that. I've seen it a couple of times, but we should get Mike McKenna on the show to talk about dirt track racing.
Yes,
that's in his blood.
Yeah, it is. Joe Schmo says there was a strange incident at the end. Some hairy dude paraded around in a towel for half an hour. He's talking about me. First of all, and Joe, you do not have to comment. I manscape, so I am not hairy. Don't call me hairy. I take care of myself. And second of all, I was not parading. It's funny because on Thanksgiving, my niece was like, oh my God, I cannot believe you made me look at you in a towel. And I go, what do you mean? And when did I do that? And she goes, after your game. And I was like, oh, you mean the championship? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I literally did the best I could to not parade. I walked out of the locker room, didn't say a word to anyone, walked straight to the shower, took a shower, towel back on, back to the locker room. Didn't do, because I thought about it. I go, there's still people here. My family's here. There's people here that are like, just here to watch the games. I'm going to make sure I don't do that. But hearing from you, apparently I still did it. Baked Beaver. It's this weekend. It was on Prime tonight. Absolutely amazing. I-55 Speedway. Okay, cool. Very cool. All right, Bill. I think that'll do it.
Yeah.
You want to talk about parading around in a towel or anything?
No. I'm afraid Bronkhorst will show up and it'll go off the fucking rails.
Oh man. So yeah, we've got a teammate and a long time friend of mine that is, let's just say he's not shy about showing himself off in the locker room and will do anything that if you give him any trouble at all, like, Brunk, put your underwear on, it becomes a whole thing. So yeah, it's pretty funny. I find it funny. I don't get shy about that kind of thing, but I know other people do, so it's pretty funny to watch. Big Beaver, good night, guys. Let's go Blues. Yeah, hopefully we're talking about some victories next week. And again, remember, folks, next week on the 10th, Bill, the 10th. Jordan Deacon from 101.1 ESPN, or The River, as I was calling it earlier. She will be on to join us and talk some Blues hockey. So hopefully we have some victories to talk about next week. Maybe we have a Robert Thomas trade to talk about. We'll see. We don't know. It is 6 days away. So thanks to our incredible sponsor, StrikeWithMike.com. That'll wrap up episode 10 of season 15 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the show. Make sure to follow us on the socials at LGB Radio and like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. For the absent Kurt Price and Bill Day, I'm Jeff Ponder, and this was Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, God, win a game. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Habs. Sunday night, baby.
Let's see that jersey again. Give us a twirl. Oh, yeah. That's good enough. That's good enough for a twirl. Good job.
All right.
TV talking St. Louis Blues hockey, moving fast, can't catch the beat. Skates on fire, I